Welcome back into the Rounding Third podcast. I'm Nick. We have Harrison and Sean with us tonight. How we doing, fellas?
What's up, boys?
Good. How we doing, Nick?
We're doing all right. My Wolf Pack made a crazy run this week. I'm amped. I'm ready for the tournament, and they got a tough draw in the first round. But this is a baseball podcast, so we'll save that for another night. But go Wolf Pack.
Nick's Wolf Pack is in, and he survived another day of Fight Club.
I didn't work today, so there's that.
All right.
It was MLB The Show 24 all day today, so you're welcome.
Oh, we're gonna have to get a review of the game here later.
Oh, so good. But all right, before we get going, make sure you follow and like us on Facebook. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you'll get your podcasts. All right, leading off the big trade this past week, Dylan Cease. A lot of talk around this one because Dylan Cease was originally the only team you heard was the New York Yankees. With all the news with Garrett Cole, they're like, all right, Yankees are all in. They're going to get Dylan Cease to New York. And it makes sense for the Yankees, right? They have the team. They have Soto. They don't know if they're going to keep Soto. Like, this is the year the Yankees need to step up and make a run if they're going to make a run. So we thought the Dylan Cease to New York deal was almost a pretty much done deal. Then you hear like the Rangers are kicking the tires, and then the Padres are kicking the tires, and then bang, San Diego makes the deal. And that's a decent rotation out there now. You got Musgrove, you got Michael King from that Soto trade. You got Yu Darvish still. I know he's getting older, but it's still Yu Darvish. And then you add Dylan Cease in there, and then there's like a 6-man competition for the number 5 spot. But that's a sneaky good move for the Padres. And the NL West is just loading up with everybody. Between the Giants, the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks, it's crazy. Everyone's going there. But
yeah, other than the Rockies, that division's a gauntlet now.
Right. But like all the stars are going there. Every star is in the NL West pretty much at this point. But I still don't think it quite moves the needle for San Diego, myself personally. I think it's a nice piece. Don't get me wrong. Dylan Cease is nice, but I don't know if it gets them out of that 3 spot. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, he's a good pitcher. He's got really good stuff. And when he's healthy and he pitches, he's good. I mean, he's one time he's finished top 3. So 2022, top 3 in the Cy Young. He's had 32, and then 33 as far as games started in the past 3 years. So he's pretty durable. You don't really have the most innings he's pitched is 184. So he's not really flirting with that 200, but that's kind of the game's going away from that. So it's not that huge of a deal.
And it's the White Sox. The White Sox aren't in a lot of games, so you're not going to make him pitch that long either.
No, sure, yeah, but it just that's what you get from a guy like him. I mean, right. It's he's going to be there every 5th day. He's going to give you 32, 33 starts, but you're not going to get 7 out of him every 5 days. No. But I think it helps, right? I mean, when you're in that division and you're going up against the Dodgers, and then you have what the Diamondbacks did, looking to retool for next year. You have to take every opportunity you can to get better, so that you do have a chance to compete. And he makes them a little bit better. Like, does Dylan Cease make them kind of leapfrog one of those other 2 teams? Arizona potentially. They're not, to my mind, they're not now favorites to win the division. I mean, right? That's still the Dodgers. But right. You did add a good pitcher, and good pitchers are always good to have. So, to use that simple logic, yeah, I mean, I think it helps. Yeah. It helps.
Yeah, the Padres are kind of in the same spot as the Red Sox. Like, they're kind of in that no man's land. If you've got some talent, you got some holes. And you could argue the Padres roster is probably a little bit better than the Red Sox, but they're in that similar kind of no man's land, middle of the pack sort of spot where a guy like Dylan Cease certainly helps push you forward. But to Sean's point, you're not catching the Dodgers, you're not going to catch the Diamondbacks, and you're still probably not going to catch the Giants. But they're not going to walk over you like they might have in the past. And what's interesting to me is the Padres. The Padres dealt Soto. They let Snell walk. They've got financial issues. They've got payroll issues. They've got personality issues. Brand new manager. They got all kinds of stuff going on. them picking up Dylan Cease was never in a million years on my radar. I never saw them being a legitimate player to make a play like that. I thought this was kind of going to be a bridge year for them. Let's clear some things out. Let's settle down. Let's see what we've got. Let's go through a season and figure out what we really need. Who's going to actually stay here? Because all those big contracts, Machado, Xander, Tatis, they can't all stay. Somebody's going to have to go. Soto was the first guy out because it was easy, but I don't know that all three of those guys are going to stay together. So I thought they were going to take this as a year to figure out what they have. Them making a trade was not on my radar. It was, like you said, Nick, it was Yankees, Yankees, Yankees. They've been rumored to be getting him for a month.
Right.
I mean, it feels like they've been talking about this for a long time. Cole gets hurt. They rush to put a deal together. San Diego steals him away. And all of a sudden, San Diego, to your point, has got a pretty good looking rotation. But does it really make a difference? Not a big difference. It makes them better. But at the same time, Dylan Cease is going to make $8 million this year. He's got one more year arbitration eligibility next year, so he may be somewhere in that $15 to $18 million range. So over the next 2 years, he's going to cost you an average of, call it, $15 million a season. That's a really budget-friendly deal. And then he's an unrestricted free agent after that, and all bets are off where he lands. But he's coming off a bad season. He's still got crazy arm talent. He was in a terrible situation last year in Chicago. He could absolutely go out to San Diego and fall flat on his face, or he could go back to being Dylan Cease, who is their Cy Young runner-up in 2022. We don't know, but it's a great move for San Diego. It props that team back up, and maybe they're in the hunt where they can make a move at the deadline and actually make a push for a playoff spot. But they've at least opened the door and given themselves a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. It will be interesting to see how he does against those lineups in the NL West. I mean, those are some tough lineups to get through. So
that NL West is no joke.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I think just, to the point I was making earlier, right? Like, I think if you're San Diego and you look at it, you had mentioned, Harrison, that you're not so sure that they're going to leapfrog San Francisco. I'm not necessarily so sure on that. I think it kind of, nothing really about San Francisco blows my skirt up, to be honest with you. Like, they got some nice players, but like, but you don't look at that roster going, wow, this roster is a shoe-in for 90 wins. Like, I don't like, they got a couple good pieces. They'll go on runs, whatever. I think if you're San Diego and, we have that more balanced schedule, right? Like, you don't necessarily have those division games that you can kind of gang up on in order to gain up ground.
Right.
Like, you're going to have to start getting a little bit more competitive with the rest of the league so that you don't fall so far behind in the division. So I think that's a good move from San Diego's part, because it's like he gives you some stability, right? Dylan Cease, like we said, this is 3 years in a row that this guy's had at least 32 starts. So you know what you're getting from this guy. Every 5 days, we can count on this guy to go out there and give us 5 to 6 innings. We believe that we have some hitters that can actually give this guy a lead. Maybe he can get us into the 7th inning every few times through. Like, I think you look at a guy like that, and he does probably put you, in my mind, a little bit better than San Francisco. Like, now you're looking only up at LA, and you're kind of looking up, I think, a little bit at Arizona still, a little bit. But, it kind of puts you there. So I think it's a good move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
To piggyback your point, too, is like, it brings them up. Division races are, yes, they're still a thing, but with a balanced schedule, if you can beat the teams that you're supposed to beat, then you are putting yourself in that driver's seat for the wild card spot. Like, it's not like the old days where it's like you had to win your division to make the playoffs. Like, gone are those days. Like, you could have all 5 teams in one division make the playoffs. Yeah. I mean mathematically, probably not, but in essence, you could. But so I mean, it definitely does help the Padres. And I don't think it helps them within the division per se, but it definitely does with other teams around the league, I think.
It's at least gonna give them a shot. They're gonna hang around. They're gonna have a chance if they can put it together. And I agree with you, Sean. I think San Francisco is a good team. I don't think they're a great team. I think they're a good team. They got some good pieces. Are they better than San Diego? Maybe, but they still got to do it. This is the team that won 100 games a couple of years ago and then kind of fell flat on their face after that, with a roster that was not that much different. So I think San Francisco is still a bit of a question mark. But if you look at Dylan Cease's 2022 season, it is almost exactly the same season Blake Snell just had. 14-8, 2.20 ERA, led the league in walks. Like, Dylan Cease is the right-handed Blake Snell. He's a 5 to 6 inning guy, high Ks, high walks, low ERA. He's just the right-handed version of Snell. So I feel like San Diego's pitching staff is kind of right back where it was. assuming you get that Dylan Cease and not the one you saw last year.
Fair. All right, so let's jump back over to the New York Yankees here with the news of Garrett Cole going down 1 to 2 months with his elbow issues. MRI came back clean, said there's no tear, but they're still going to rest him. Now, if he's still having elbow issues when he comes back, what do you do? I mean, I'm not a medical professional, obviously, but I mean, I'm kind of lost there. Like, is it just tired, fatigue, maybe?
Yeah,
it's I mean, that's fatigue from what?
Yeah. I remember the days. Remember the Red Sox had this happen to them with a few guys in the early 2000s. You'd have this dead arm. The guys would complain that they had the dead arm. They didn't have life. They didn't have life on the fastball. The arm just felt kind of dead. You didn't have the pop, and they'd rest for a couple weeks and come back and be fine. And according to this Neil Elatrachet, these guys all go see, what Cole has is nerve inflammation and edema in his right elbow, which almost never requires surgery to fix. It usually is dealt with rest. How much rest, though, is undetermined. Every case is different. Gotcha. So this could be one of those, to your point, Nick, where maybe he doesn't get surgery because generally what he has doesn't require surgery. But 4 weeks could become 6, could become 8, could become 12. You just don't know. And that's the funny part about where the Yankees are, is that he doesn't need surgery, thank goodness, like he's going to be okay, but when? And they're not going to know. They're going to have to literally play this out a couple weeks at a time and see how he's doing. And until he feels 100%, he's not throwing. So you got to get through that, get him back to 100%, and then ramp him up. Right. He's going to have to go back to spring training for a couple of weeks and get himself put back together. So it's, even if it's only 4 weeks of rest, it could be an 8-week absence because he's got to get ramped back up. Like, you have no idea what this is going to do. And there's no saying that a month later he's not dealing with it again.
Yeah.
It's a tough one. And even the surgeon said, you're almost better off to be able to go in and surgically repair this, because then it's fixed. Right. This, you don't know when it's actually fixed. It could come back.
So what does this do for the Yankees this year? Is it a question mark? Are they still a very high favorite? Are they a contender? What does this do?
Well, high favorite for what?
The same expectations. I would say like World Series aspirations.
Probably outside looking in. I mean, I think Baltimore's going to be there for the division. I don't think the Yankees are going to just tuck their tail and go away, right? I mean, they're going to hit, they're going to score their runs. They did add some nice pieces in the pitching rotation, but, like we had talked about last week, I think when you have your guy that's slotted in there as number one and everyone else fits so much more comfortably below him, right. Now you're putting a lot more on those guys that in their careers have been streaky kind of guys. And so it's going to be a lot more stress on them to extend the good streaks and minimize the bad streaks. But I still think this is a team that's going to win a lot of games in the regular season. And I mean, again, this is not Cole out for the year, but they're going to have to weather the storm at the beginning. I think if things work out well for the Yankees as far as like the scheduling to come back, right? Let's say it's 4 or 5 weeks, then he picks up a baseball and he feels good and there's no setbacks, and he takes another 2 to 3 weeks to ramp up. So that's a total of 8 to 9 weeks. And then he kind of makes his season debut, right? I think you kind of definitely look at that as a bullet dodged. And you're like, all right, unless we lost every game for those 9 weeks, like, we'll be okay. Right? Like, right. You go 0 for 2 months, you got a problem. But, imagine if they can weather the storm, and then Cole comes back and he's, a guy that can help. I mean, he's shown what he can do with that team. There's just no question what he can do when he's pitching in front of those guys. So, I think that's the kind of the hope you have. If this turns out to be, we don't see him until July, well then, now if you're the Yankees, you go, okay, we probably have a little bit of a problem unless we go make another move. Unless we go throw the truck at Montgomery, which at this point, I don't know what the hell's going on with that guy, but we can get to that in a little bit. So I don't know. I mean, I think you're nervous, but I don't think this necessarily changes if you're in the Yankees front office or you're on that roster. Like, I don't think this necessarily changes what you think you can accomplish this year. It's just like, okay, well, we just got to weather the storm at the beginning. You know, we all get paid. We're all professionals. We got to figure out a way to weather this storm.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Yankees went from, you know, kind of neck and neck with the Orioles battling for the AL East to maybe taking a step behind them. I don't think they missed the playoffs because Cole's not there, but, you know, I think the Yankees have proven, though, that getting in as a wild card doesn't work to their advantage. They do seem to struggle in those ALDS sort of games when they're not at home. So I think as a Yankees fan, you're looking at it going, if we can get him back, if we can get to the All-Star break and still be hanging around in a good shape, and we've got Cole back at that point, maybe he's been back for a little while, but he's back to being himself, I feel really good about the second half of the season. If I'm a Yankees fan, I'm more worried about the fact that you've got Cole down, you've got Judge questionable, LeMahieu just went down with a foot injury. You're going through the same pattern you went through last year. Guys are already dropping in spring training. And one thing that I want to point out that Garrett Cole said yesterday was Garrett Cole felt like when he got to spring training, his quote was, "I got a little too hot too quick." So what that tells me is that we've said this last year too. Like, there's something going on with the way the Yankees handle these players that doesn't seem to jive. When Cole says, "I got too hot too quick," that's a coaching problem. Where's the trainer? Where are the coaches? Where are they ramping these guys up intelligently? You know, Judge has an abdominal issue. That's also an overuse type situation. Did he get too hot too quick? Did LeMahieu get too, like, what is going on in New York that causes these guys to go down with these overuse, deep tissue muscle ligament type issues? Because those are things that training staff and a coaching staff should be planning to not create those problems. But when Garrett Cole says, "I got too hot too quick," that means the program they've got doesn't work. And that's again, we've talked about this the last couple of years, the guys getting hurt. That's a red flag. There's something with how they manage these players that doesn't work.
Yeah.
I think Judge should be fine, though, right? I mean, from everything, I think Judge, you know, it was more of a precautionary type of thing. Didn't he come back wasn't he back in the lineup on Saturday?
I have no idea.
He's not back yet. He started swinging. He's not back until they are hoping to get him into a game Wednesday of this week. He just started swinging this weekend, just tee work, real, like, kind of half speed. So again, like, he's not like an injury so much as he's like it's tired and sore.
Oh, he's just missing time. Yeah,
he's just missing time. But like, this is the stuff. This, as a Yankees fan, like, I see this. I not as a Yankees fan. If I was a Yankees fan, you're seeing the same pattern play out. Judge is already Judge is banged up in March. Cole goes down. LeMahieu goes down. It's like, oh my goodness, like we can't get out of this cycle.
Yeah.
I will say, Stanton. Do you see Stanton today?
No.
He is leaned out. He's not so bulky. He looks really good. He says he's moving, you know, kind of fluidly, more effortlessly. He looks good. The hope is that whatever they change in his off-season conditioning program will help him last, because they felt like he had gotten a little bulky with his workout regimen. So they've tried to thin him out and lean him down a little bit. He looks good, though.
Does that help him hit a breaking ball, or?
No, he still won't. He hits the straight ball very far. A curveball, not so much, but it might keep him healthy so he can actually make an impact. But he looked good. He's definitely not the same guy. Yeah. I guess we'll see if he lasts more than 50 games.
Not counting on it, but Devin Williams for the Brewers, you know, all-star, perennial all-star closer, best changeup in the game right now. 2 stress fractures in his back and will miss up to 4 months. So I don't know the exact parameters of that or how it happened. Is that overuse or, you know, just kind of dumb luck? But I mean, that's kind of a big loss for the Brewers there at the back end of that bullpen. And an NL West, that's NL Central, that's completely up in the air. We have no idea what's going to happen in that division.
There's a lot of question marks, and he's a huge piece.
Yep. And then let's stay in the NL Central here and get to that Noelvi Marte 80-game suspension for PEDs. Now, I mean, we obviously don't know when or how or whatever, but I mean, 80 games means like you broke the law, dude. Like you're done. He's the number 1 prospect in baseball. The Reds had such a young team, rear and ready to go. He was a big piece of that. and there's just no excuse for it anymore. The testing's too good. I don't know what these guys are trying to do, but
you're not gonna get away with it. I mean, that's the problem. Like to your point, the testing is really good. These guys, they're getting randomly tested. They know the rules, and to make that mistake as a top prospect, now you've delayed coming up because they had him expected to be on that roster and playing. Now they got to shuffle things around. Losing 80 games, that's going to be tough.
And there's no excuse for it anymore. They literally have like a time by time schedule. It's like you eat at 8:04 a.m. You get on the field at 8:06. Like you're putting something else in your body that the training staff's literally not mapping out for you. Like that's your own problem. Like crazy.
Yeah, and they've gotten really good too about making sure that they're testing these minor league guys. This is not just a thing that you go through when you get to the majors. You can kind of get away with it in the minors. Like they got these tests for particularly AAA, but all the way down through kind of single, double, AAA. Like they're testing these guys, particularly guys that have been hurt in the past and then they came back, and particularly guys who are rising really quickly. And I'm not saying that just because that's happening, something nefarious is going on, but like if you fall into that category, you better make sure nothing nefarious is going on because they're going to catch it.
Right. Yeah.
But now, like you look at the Reds, and they brought in Candelario. So he'll play third. They kept Jonathan India, so you've got some more depth. But the guy who's going to benefit the most is going to be Encarnacion Strand, who is expected to be the utility guy, who's now going to get a bunch more playing time with Marte not there. So, but what's impressive though, you look at the Reds just have more young guys waiting in the wings to come up and play that can make an impact. Like whatever they're doing in the minor leagues is working great. They just keep rolling these guys
PEDs.
out.
Well, it's
not working out so great.
Jeez, Sean.
You could also thank the Seattle Mariners for that because they sent them for their young. Marte was part of that deal to get Castillo in Seattle. So that was a big plethora, and they're all just coming up now. So it's crazy, but
it's bananas the young talent they've got on that roster.
Yeah. All right. So before we move on, let's get into Snell and Montgomery here. So the latest, exactly. So the latest news this week. The Astros were in on Snell, then they were out on Snell. They were in on Snell, then they're out. So, no idea. But Snell is still seeking high annual value for short term. So he said he would go 2 years, $33 million a year. Was the latest numbers that I heard. Does a team come in and do that? A 2-year, $33 million deal? For Snell.
You think they would have by now?
Right.
I mean, it's fair.
I mean, this guy twice in his career, 2018 and then 2023, twice in his career has he made more than 30 starts. So this guy's, $33 million a year for, let's say what on his average, his 162. I mean, what's he averaging? Around the high 20s. I mean, I don't know. It's a lot of money. And I'm not saying he's not worth it. He's got 2 Cy Youngs. I mean, I'm not saying he's not worth it. I'm just, at this point, March 18th, like if someone was going to give that to you, you would have got it by now.
Yeah. I mean, Blake Snell in his career, to your point though, Sean, Blake Snell's career has made more than 30 starts twice. He's won the Cy Young both times.
Yeah, right. So no, like I said, I'm not saying he's not worth it. I'm not saying he's not.
No, it's funny. Like it just goes to show, like the best. The best abilities availability. But when he's on the field, I mean, when he can get out there, he's lights out. But so the Astros were all in on him because of the Urquidy issues. They kind of backed out. The Los Angeles Angels are still expected to sign him. They're still sitting there saying, "Come on, come to LA. We'd love to have you here, Anaheim, because it's not really LA." But what's interesting now is, as of yesterday, the San Francisco Giants have jumped back in because for 2 years and $66 million, they might want to take a flyer on him to bring him in and see what they can do for a couple of years. From the sounds of it, though, he's not. He's saying he'll take the shorter contract, but he's not willing to sign the shorter contract till he knows the longer term contract is dead. And they're still taking temperatures on long-term contracts, and the general consensus is no, we're not giving it to you. But if you'll take something shorter, we'll consider it. So he's still playing this game of I'll do this, but I really want this, and can I find some way to work my way back to the longer term deal? It's not happening. But the season starts in 10 days. This guy hasn't been in camp. I'm sure he's still throwing. He'll be ready, but it's different to actually get ramped up and see live hitters and all that, which he hasn't seen. So you're signing Blake Snell right now. May not see him to the middle of April, which is probably okay. But as the days keep passing by, he's just making his entrance that much harder. And same with Montgomery. There's zero reporting on Montgomery right now. He is a ghost.
I just don't see how a team comes in and gives Snell a long-term contract at this point. Like to your point, like everyone's amped up in spring training. They're all at camps. Like their focus isn't on signing a pitcher right now. It's getting the players that are there ready for the season in 10 days. So, right. Man, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm lost on these two. Completely lost. I have no idea.
I'm actually, part of me is wondering, is he going to go like the Le'Veon Bell route and be like, fine, I'll just sit out for a year? I mean, that would be suicide. Is Le'Veon Bell proved? But if he keeps saying I'll take a shorter term contract, he's been offered a few shorter term contracts. He hasn't signed one yet. What are you waiting for? Like, what do you really want then? You say one thing and then you don't actually do it. What are you looking for?
I got nothing. I'm when it comes to these two, Snell and Montgomery, I'm completely lost. Because you think like not that long ago, I mean, even now, like left-handed pitching is a hot commodity. Like if you have a decent left-handed pitcher on your team, whether they're in the bullpen or not, like or in your starting rotation, you want that. But it just seems like no one is interested in these guys for the amount of money they want.
And these guys are pretty good last time I checked too. I don't really remember. It's been so long since I've seen them, but
as you're
pretty good.
I understand Boris is their agent and he always wants the top dollar, but at some point I got to go to my agent and be like, dude, I need a job. I need to get on a team. Like if it's for less money, it's for less money, but like, let's do something here.
Yeah. At this point, get me a 1-year deal. Then like, just get me out on the field so I can show that this is not a fluke season, and I'm going to be the same guy again.
Yeah, I don't know,
but I think it gets down to we've talked about a bunch of times. You've got so much young talent in the league right now that paying a guy that kind of money when you've got guys on rookie contracts makes no sense. He really kind of chews up your bullpen because he doesn't go deep in games. And you've got a lot of teams that adding Blake Snell might be nice, but it doesn't give you enough of a jump to get back into the playoff picture. So it's like, I could spend the money, but why? So I think Blake Snell's literally, there's probably a half dozen teams that are legitimate candidates to sign him for good reasons. I think the Angels need to sign him to actually prove the fact they actually still play baseball there and care. But I just don't think the market for him is that big. I think it's a combination of the way this offseason played out. There's not as many open seats as he might have thought there were. The TV deal is obviously an issue, but I think when you look at what he's asking for, if he's Garrett Cole, he's already been signed to that massive contract, but he's just not that guy. As talented as he is, he's not that dependable, durable guy like a Garrett Cole, of course, who's injured right now, but still, that's not his track record.
Do you guys think that the Ohtani signing completely demolished the market and made it hard for these guys to sign this offseason?
I don't think the Ohtani signing does it. I think what the Dodgers have done has taken a lot of teams. I think has jaded a lot of teams. If you're in the National League right now and you're looking at the Braves and the Dodgers, and you're looking at your roster, and you're thinking to yourself, "Well, I want to win a World Series, but there's not enough guys out there to go get to compete with those guys." Or if I'm a team like the Giants, who are like, "I could go sign Snell, but how far does that push me?" Or if you're a team like the Cardinals, if I go get a guy like Blake Snell or Jordan Montgomery, like how far does that push me? Like there's too many of these teams that are like in the middle that one addition, which is all they can afford, isn't enough to get them into that upper echelon. So I think what the Dodgers have done is kind of taken a lot of teams. They've kind of went, well, we're out. Like there's not a lot we can do and there's no point in spending the money.
Yeah. So it's not the Ohtani contract per se. It's the amount of signings and how they did it to improve their team. Yeah, the gap between the upper team and the middle teams is too much.
I think the gap between the top 4 and 5 teams in baseball and then the middle of the pack, that next wave, is just too big.
It's fair. So a competitive balance issue.
For the Red Sox to become a competitor in the AL East, they need to go sign Snell and Montgomery. They need both of them. One of them doesn't get you there. Both do. And I think if you're the Red Sox, bad example because they've got a huge budget, but it's the best one we've got. Do you want to go spend $50 million a year, $60 million a year on those two guys, or just say, I'll wait a year and see what the minor league system brings me or who's available next year? I feel like those guys, these elite guys, are expensive enough where you just can't justify bringing in one if they don't. You can't justify bringing them in if they don't get you over the hump.
Yeah, that's fair. So, I mean, and we'll see if these guys aren't signed by the start of the season. Like we've said before, I think Sean said, or one of you guys said it, that injuries happen, and someone's going to be like, "All right, now it's time to bring you in." Like,
well, but that's the thing. You would have thought like injuries. When I said it, it was spring training injuries happen.
right.
Like,
and we've had some
ago, right? Like a month ago on February 18th, like we were sitting here and I was like, "Oh, I'm not worried that these two are unsigned because someone's going to get hurt, and then eventually, whether it be the Yankees or somebody else is going to just tuck their tail and say, okay, we'll pay you what you want because we need you in here." I never thought we'd be 10 days away from opening day, and both of these guys are unsigned, and there's no real fire around them.
No,
like it's not like we're checking our phones like minutes away from these things being announced. Like there's nothing that really makes it sound like it's anywhere close. That I'm shocked by.
Yeah,
because I would have thought, Cole is obviously the big one, and that's a tough one for the Yankees, but I would have thought by now both of these guys would have found homes.
I think the news is going to come in kind of like the Dylan Cease news did, where it's like, oh, I'm expecting Dylan Cease movement, but I'm expecting the Yankees, and then the Padres pop up, and I'm like, wait, what? It's going to be kind of like a shock, I think.
Well, and say this out loud for a second. The NL reigning Cy Young is unemployed right now. Like that just seems ridiculous to say. Like the last year's Cy Young winner doesn't have a job. That just blows my mind when you think about it.
Yeah.
And you got another guy like JD Martinez, who had one of his better seasons last year, who is still flying around to teams just looking to see if somebody will take him.
Yeah.
I can't. This is the most bizarre offseason I can ever recall.
Yeah. I have nothing when it comes to those two. I have no opinions because there isn't anything to have an opinion on. Like we just don't know anything about them
other than it's just weird. Like that's the only opinion you can have. It's just weird.
Right. Exactly.
Well, and then you got Trevor Bauer, who's now joining a Mexican League team so he can play against the Yankees here next week. Who's literally offering to pay for free, just basically free to get back in the league, and the league's like, "No, we're good, pal. Go away." Yeah. Guy throwing almost 100 miles an hour still. There is so much talent floating around that doesn't have a job.
Yeah,
and it is mind blowing.
Yeah, that's crazy. But all right, well, we'll move on. We'll take a quick break. We're gonna do some player puzzles for this week, and then after that, we're gonna get to our third annual fantasy league draft order, and then we'll wrap up the show with some other topics and news. So here we go. We're going to jump into the player puzzles.
All right.
And here we go. The first one. We got Fat Joe, another word for a stingray, and then toilet paper.
What? Yeah.
This guy is a reliever for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Oh, Mantiply.
Yes.
Yeah. I was
Joe,
like, what are we looking at?
Yes, Joe Mantiply. You're welcome for that one. Here we go.
That was good. Like, what a random group of pictures.
Yep. And here we go. Here's the next one. So it's a company logo on the left, and that's one of the members of Destiny's Child. Obviously not Beyonce.
Oh, is it Kelly Rowland? Is that who that is?
Uh-huh.
Oh, is it Merrill Kelly?
It is. It's Merrill Kelly. Yeah.
I'm like, I know the logo. Where's it from? It's Merrill Lynch, of course.
Yeah, Merrill Lynch. So that's Merrill Kelly. Yep. All right. Next
Let me
one.
get my head in the game here. Is that the dude from Boy Meets World?
Yep. What was his name?
Ben Savage?
Nope. What was his
you talking about the character's name?
Character's
Corey.
name? Yep.
Oh, Corey Seager.
Yes, Corey Seager. Yes.
Oh, I was like, what on earth?
Yep, Corey Seager. Good one. Here we go. Next one. This guy up on the top, I actually didn't really know what this guy looked like, but he makes a lot of like weird, darkish like movies.
Oh, it's not Tim Burton. Who's the other guy?
It is Tim Burton.
Oh, is that Tim Burton? Okay.
Yeah. Just signed with the Marlins.
Oh, Tim Anderson.
Yes, Tim Anderson.
Oh, duh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tim Anderson. Yeah. Next one.
Oh, geez.
It's the type of tire.
Garrett Cooper.
Yes, Garrett Cooper.
Oh, I kept wanting to say Garrett Whitlock. I'm like, it's not. Like, I need another Garrett.
Yep, Garrett Cooper. I love this one. This guy's a lesser known player in the 90s for the Braves.
It's
Which one's the red one?
Raphael,
yeah.
Oh.
It's I keep wanting to say Betancourt, but it's not a Betancourt. It's
no. So also known as a beer what?
Garden.
Well, beer belly.
Beer belly. And then what's the picture? It's on a garden.
The lawn.
Or another word for lawn, like your back. Yep. So it is Raphael Belliard.
Oh,
I don't even know who that is.
I do remember Belliard, but I was not. I couldn't get. I just couldn't get there.
Yeah, Raphael Belliard. Okay, next one.
Oh, Benintendi.
Yes.
Andrew Benintendi.
Yeah.
Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Benintendi. Okay, next one. So we got P. Diddy and the other Affleck. What is Diddy's real name?
Sean Combs.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sean Casey.
Yes, Sean Casey.
Oh, yeah. I could not think of the other Affleck's name.
Yeah, that was all pop culture.
Good Affleck.
Yeah. That was all pop culture for you there, Harrison. You're welcome.
Yeah. It's my weakness.
Next one.
Chili Davis.
Yeah,
Chili Davis.
Yeah, Chili Davis. Nice. Next one. So it's
Ricky,
more.
not Ricky. It's Fowler.
It is Fowler.
Dexter.
Yes, good.
Could not think of his first name.
Who's the chick in the sunglasses?
Her.
That's her.
What?
That's literally her name. Her.
She goes by her. H-E-R.
Who the hell is that?
Singer.
Singer musician, dude. She's a crazy guitarist. She's really good. But yeah.
I'm sure she is. I just don't know who she is. I was knocking on her.
That's her. Yeah. Who is she? Her.
Yeah. All right. Next one.
Scooter Gwinnett.
Yeah. Yep. Scooter Jeanette. Yep. Next one.
Jose Lobaton.
Yes, nice
Thank you.
one,
I'm like,
Sean.
Loeb, what?
Yes, Jose.
My arch
Lobaton.
nemesis.
Right?
Arch nemesis. That
He-
freaking guy.
That Koji splitter he took out for that walk-off homer. Oh,
Dude, once
Nasty.
a year I have nightmares about that.
right. All right, next one.
Who's that all the way on the right?
Gal Gadot.
Oh, Nick Madrigal.
Yes, Nick Madrigal. Nice. Yep. Next one. Should almost get it just by the first picture. I loved watching this guy like every night last year for my Diamondbacks.
Oh, Ketel Marte.
Yes, Ketel Marte.
I was stuck on T. I'm like, what are we looking at?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ketel Marte. Love this dude. Such an underrated player.
Oh, because unfortunately he spent all those
I had
years
him.
in
I
Arizona
had
before
him.
they were good.
He was my pick for National League MVP last year.
Yeah, that was good. He had a great year.
Right.
My preseason pick.
Yep. This is one of my favorite ones this week. It's a great one. Like to pump my own tires a little bit.
Hideki Matsui.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
I was like, I got the Hideki, and I was like, yeah.
Hideki Matsui.
Godzilla. Bill Mazeroski.
Yes, it is. You know who that person is in the middle at the bottom?
Not a clue. I got the maze and the ski, and I just guessed.
Yeah, it is. It's
Zero from Holes.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
wait,
Bill
is who?
Mazeroski.
Zero from
Holes. Never seen the movie Holes?
Oh no, it's been a long. No,
great movie.
Not enough to remember it.
So good.
Great movie.
Who was this?
Oh, Mark McGwire.
Yep, Mark McGwire.
Mm.
Yeah, Mark McGwire. Next one. This guy just shockingly signed with the Phillies, and we were like, wait, what?
Oh, Whit Merrifield?
Yep, Whit Merrifield. That's Mary J. Blige at the bottom.
You're down with the R&B, huh, Nick?
Always.
Phil Necro.
Yep.
Phil Necro. Nice one. Good. Next one.
David Ortiz?
Yeah, David Ortiz. Good.
Okay. I was like, paddle? Like, what am I doing here? Nice
David Paddle Golf. Very, very good defensive center fielder. It's a
Kevin
little
Kiermaier?
bit. No. What are those pictures of?
Columns?
Or they're called something else.
Columns?
No.
I was just going to say that too.
This is Kevin Pillar, the Pillars.
Oh, Pillars. Okay. Yep.
Okay. I was worried about that one. Okay, first picture at the bottom. It's what?
Sednick.
Yeah, good. I was going to give you a clue. Yeah, Scott.
Nice.
Sednick. Nice one. Good one. How about this one? So his first name is two initials. And then it's the artist of the picture.
It's Pollock.
AJ Pollock.
Yes,
AJ
AJ Pollock. Yep, good. AJ Pollock. This is a lesser known reliever, but his name cracks me up, so that's why I put him in here.
The pictures are quite fun.
So the guy at the top is
Kevin.
yeah.
Kevin.
And the duck is what?
Honking.
Or what does a duck do?
Quack.
Yeah. And the guy is
Hiding.
but he's in something.
Ivy.
No, like more generic. This is Kevin Quackenbush.
Oh, geez.
Like it's literally like in bush.
Quack in bush.
So good.
Jeez.
I saw it. I was like, I had to.
That one could not have been more literal.
Yeah,
He's
Kevin,
literally, what is he? He's in a bush.
he's
Okay,
in
got
a
it.
bush.
Like that was as literal as it comes.
Yeah, Kevin Quackenbush. All right. How about this one?
Oh God.
The urinal's been pretty much universal for when I use this.
Yeah, P.
Yeah. Then the actress at the bottom is
I'm blanking on her name from Clueless.
Witherspoon.
Thank you.
Or what's her first name?
Reese.
Yeah.
Oh, Pee Wee. Is it Pee Wee Reese?
Pee Wee
Yeah.
Reese.
Yeah, Pee Wee Reese. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Good.
Oh, Victor Robles.
Yeah.
Victor Robles.
Yeah. Good. Victor Robles. Next one.
Kurt Schilling.
Kurt
Yeah.
Schilling.
Yeah. Kurt Schilling. That one's pretty literal too.
Yeah, that was good. That's literally
Yeah.
straight up.
Kurt Schilling. This one's a little bit of a stretch in the last picture, but more about what the bricks are to the ocean. This is probably the Diamondbacks closer now. Came from Seattle.
Oh, Paul Sewald.
Yeah, Seawall. There we go.
Yeah. All right. So now this one is a little bit different to end this part. Is I'm going to give you the nickname and you can give me the player or the nickname or both. Okay. So here's the first one. There are some easy ones on here. So here's the first one.
The Iron Horse.
Right. Which is
Lou Gehrig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Got it.
All right.
Yeah.
We
So
got
it's
it.
a little bit different, but here we go. Yep. Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig.
Well, Georgia
Alabama.
Peach.
Georgia
Peach.
Peach, which is
Alabama. He said.
I
Just sneak in there like no one's
Georgia.
gonna notice. He said Alabama.
I was like, nope, Georgia.
who's the Alabama princess? Yeah.
I was just like saying something out loud. I'm like, Alabama princess.
Yeah. So Ty Cobb, Georgia Peach.
Oh, Hammer and Hank.
Hammer and Hank.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Hank Aaron. Yep. Next one.
Joey Bats.
Joey Bats.
Joey Bats. Yep.
The best, the most iconic bat flip.
The bat flip that started all bat flips now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, Kung
Fu Panda.
Kung Fu Panda. Yep.
We knew we'd see. We knew we'd see Sandoval eventually.
So that's from a movie that Tom Hanks was in, a very famous one.
Yeah, big.
Yep.
Oh, Big Hurt.
Yes, this is the Big
Frank
Hurt.
Thomas.
Oh,
Frank Tom.
Big Hurt.
And you're welcome. You're welcome for this picture, Sean.
Oh, the
Thank
Auburn.
you very much. Yeah, thank you. I got my Bogue jersey on here.
Yep, of course. Okay.
Nice.
Next one.
The Crime Dog.
Crime Dog. Yep. Fred McGriff. Good. The Tom Bernansky video.
I was saying, from the Tom Amansky drills.
Yeah.
Oh God. What the?
Who is this guy?
Professor?
Uh-huh. Do you know who was called the professor?
No.
Oh.
Well, that makes sense. Greg Maddox.
Yep.
I had no
Yeah.
idea that was his nickname, but that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Professor Greg Maddox. Okay, next one. Easy one.
Rocket.
Rocket. Yep. Roger Clemens.
You missed a big one there. You should have put the guy from Rookie of the Year, Chet Steadman. He was the Rocket.
That's true. I should have. Who is this? He's in the Santa Claus.
Black Jesus, Michael Jordan.
No.
He's in what?
He's in the Santa Claus. He's like one
with Tim Allen?
Yep.
This guy is?
A harder one. Yep. He's like another, like the guy that makes you always fall asleep.
Oh, Sandman.
Yeah. And who is Sandman?
That was Hoffman, right?
Nope.
Oh, no. Mariano.
Yeah.
Mariano.
Came out to Sandman.
Yeah, Sandman. Yeah. All right.
Bicep Jesus.
Nope. But this is, what side arm is that one?
Left.
Yep. And then who's in the last picture?
God.
Uh-huh. So it's literally the left arm of God.
Oh.
So who would the left arm of God be?
Are you making these nicknames up? I've never heard
I was
of
going to say,
this.
I have no idea.
Sandy Koufax. You've
That was literally his nickname?
Yeah.
I've never heard that one before.
You've
No.
never? Wow.
No.
I have before, yeah. Sandy Koufax, left arm of God.
Well, of course you heard it. You made it up.
Right.
Flying Dutchman?
Yeah,
I was just going to say the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah.
All I can come up with.
Do you remember who it was?
Yeah, Honus.
Nap, right?
Honus
Oh,
Wagner.
no, it's Honus.
Yeah, Honus Wagner, Flying Dutchman.
The Laser Show, Dustin Pedroia.
Yes, it is. Good.
Oh, very nice. Very nice.
Laser Show, Dustin Pedroia.
Teddy ball game.
Teddy ball game. Yeah,
Oh.
layup. Ted Williams. I love this. This was my favorite exhibit at the Baseball Hall of Fame is his strike zone with all the baseballs. It's so good.
I read his science of hitting books so many times as a teenager.
Right. How about this one? So the second picture, it's like when you break up, she becomes your.
Yeah, X. But what's that thing all the way on the right?
Oh, the Ryan Express.
Yeah, the Ryan Express. It's a printing press.
Printing press.
Yeah. So Ryan Express.
That's such a good picture.
Yeah, it's the best one. Yeah.
It was funny. Is like that wasn't like a line drive. It was like a routine ground ball. It took a bad hop on him.
Yeah. How about this one?
Oh,
Sultan of SWAT.
Yeah, the Sultan of SWAT. The Colossus.
It's like, what the hell do you call him?
Yeah, Babe Ruth. How about
King
this
Felix.
one? King Felix. Yeah.
Oh, Felix. Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, what is the cat? The big donkey?
The big donkey. Do you know who the big donkey is?
No.
Adam Dunn.
Oh, I do remember that one.
That fits, dude. That fits.
It does. That dude was massive.
It's just the big donkey.
The big donkey. Adam Dunn. So it's the type of pie that's on the right that gives it the name.
Oh, the Flying Hawaiian. Shane Victorino.
Yes. Good. I think this is the last one I got. He got this nickname in college.
Oh, the kid from Tennessee.
Volunteer fireman.
Yeah,
thank you.
Fireman.
Yeah, the kid from Tennessee, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Ben Joyce. And that's all
Great
I
nickname.
got.
Great nickname, the volunteer
That's
fireman.
amazing.
Yeah. And he actually did he come up last year or the year before? He was throwing BBs up with the Angels here.
I think
not that
last
long
year.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was last year.
Sounds right. But yeah, he hit 103 a couple times. Crazy. Unreal. But yeah. So I thought I'd switch it up with the nicknames there a little bit, but they're a little easy. But
So just in case you're wondering, Ben Joyce's ERA this spring is a 9.95.
Whew, is that good?
6 1/3, 7 earned, 1 home run, 7 walks.
Oh. That's what he gives you.
Well,
yeah, that hurts.
It could be a 10.
I mean, it could be a 10.
But,
in Anaheim, nothing's a 10 though.
Facts. But all right. We real quick are going to do our draft order for our fantasy league. We have the third annual rounding third baseball fantasy league, which is crazy. That's our third year running. But we're just going to spin the wheel real quick and do our draft order here. So stick with us for a minute, and then we'll get back to the other news from around the league. So here we go. All the names are in. And here is our first spin for the number 1 pick. The Ronald Acuna pick goes to, and he's definitely going to take him because he's a Braves fan. So Braxton,
oh man,
number 1. Number 2,
Acuna's off the board. The Mookie Betts pick.
And we got oh
wow,
Bo with a number 2 pick. We're gonna end up with the last 3 picks here because that's just how it goes with the host.
Was that how it's been the last couple of
Yep.
years? Right.
Yeah, I think so.
There's the Aaron Judge pick, Craig. There you go. You're welcome.
Yeah. I want the middle rounds. Give me the middle rounds. Then I don't have to wait as long.
Yes.
Stop. No,
Yes.
Harrison's gonna hit. All right. Harrison auto drafts at 4.
I can't wait to get Garrett Cole at 4.
Where we go?
I can't wait to get Blake Snell at 4. I'm taking Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery. I'm playing a different game.
Just put him at the top. Man. All right.
Is this a snake draft, Nick?
Chris is our defending champion. Yeah, snake draft. Chris is our defending champion, so he gets the 6. And then Sean with 7.
That'll work.
I'm going to end up with the last pick here. Yeah, great. Love this. Love this for me. We're just gonna cut this from the show.
This never happened.
God dang it. Are you kidding me?
What are the chances?
Unbelievable, man. All right. Well, we're done with that. Okay.
Well,
so I end up with the last pick of the draft.
And the first pick of the following round. Look at that.
Yeah, great. Then I have to wait an hour and a half to get my pick.
Yeah.
So, all right. We are going to head home and wrap up other news from around the league. If you saw, it was the first game back in Korea for Ha-Seong Kim and the Padres. He went deep twice. Like, it was just crazy to see. It was really cool. The first one was an absolute bomb, and then he turns on a pitch and just laces it down the left field line. This dude is exciting to watch. I don't know if you've ever watched Ha-Seong Kim closely. His defense is unreal. Yeah. So he can hit a little bit. Like, he's really good. I know you were calling for him to come to Boston.
Yeah, when they made the Xander, when Xander was gone, and it was like, all right, well, he's signing in San Diego. It's like, well, San Diego doesn't need him. Like, bring him to Boston. I love watching the guy play. He plays an electric style. It's it's a, I don't want to say it's different, but it's not that like big body power bat, right? But like he plays a really fun brand of defense. I like the guy. I find him very enjoyable to watch play.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was just really cool to like go to your home country and like you do play. Like when if you've ever had that chance as like a player to like go back to like your home and like kind of like show off, like you get an extra, pep in your step. It was really cool to see. But there were signs that they're calling him Awesome Kim instead of Ha-Seong Kim. So like Awesome Kim, which I hope that sticks because it's pretty awesome. I love that. Then Another show favorite for us, Joey Votto. First pitch he sees in spring training goes yard. Absolutely love that for him. I hope he makes the team in some aspect. I'm not ready for Joey Votto to be out of baseball.
Agreed.
Yeah,
the day he retires is the sad day for baseball.
Yeah. And then another freaking Orioles prospect, Kyle Stowers, hits 3 home runs in a spring training game. Like, I get it. It's spring training, but these guys they're just rolling them out there to be like, hey, are you under 20? You play baseball? Okay, you'll come play for us. And these guys just perform. It's just like, it's crazy how many young guys. The Orioles are set for a while here.
Yeah.
I mean,
it speaks volumes for what they do in the minors, man. I mean, they seem to do a good job preparing these guys and, putting them in spots that's going to make them and not make them, but help them succeed. And young players like that in baseball, man, you can give these guys confidence and you give these guys the sense that they are in the right spot to perform at their best. I mean, you're going to get the best out of these guys most nights. And you're seeing that in Baltimore, man. It's fun.
Yeah. I know, like you always say, it's a future Sean problem, but in 5 or 6 years, the Orioles aren't going to be able to sign all of these guys.
Future Orioles
it's
problem.
Going to be,
that's okay.
Right. Oh, absolutely. I mean, they're going to be at the top. They're going to be competing for a while, and they're going to be fun to watch. So
that's all right, man.
But
and I have no reason to believe that they will handle it poorly. You're not going to be able to sign all these guys, but those guys can bring in other pieces. You use it the right way.
Right.
You're never going to go 100% on signing guys. You're never going to go 100% on making trades. Like, you're going to make bad signings. You're going to make trades that don't work out the way that you want. But, you're doing yourself a favor by giving yourself this many opportunities to go, you know what, we're going to give this guy a chance. Or, we want to give this guy a chance, but we need help in the rotation or whatever. And, somebody like this can bring us the guy that we need. They're putting themselves in a good spot. And like I said, I mean, why wouldn't you want to take a chance and go get an Orioles prospect? It looks like they're doing all the right things, right? Yeah. Like, if you have the opportunity to bring in 1 or 2 of these guys, I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, this seems like it's a really good farm system that does all the right things. So, I mean, hats off to them. They're doing a great job.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Reds and the Orioles, like, just the sheer amount of young players that are coming up, and like we said last week, like, making impacts. Like, they're not just coming up and, like, going 1 for 5 or 1 for 10 on the week. Like, these guys are performing at this high level, like, ready to go. Like, it's awesome to see.
The Reds have the top prospect in baseball get suspended, and they got 3 guys waiting behind him that deserve playing time that are just going to fill right in. Like, it's bananas.
Yeah. I watched a game last year against the Diamondbacks. The Reds they started 7 rookies. 7 rookies were in the starting lineup against the Diamondbacks, and they're just, I mean, it's crazy. It's cool. But like we said before, like, we wonder if that is another factor in the free agent signing and free agent market, because teams are, we say it over and over, teams are like, well, this guy's under control for 6 years. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to pay anybody because I have a 20-year-old that's going to come up and fill that spot and give me that same production. So why spend $33 million a year if I have Hunter Green still under team control that's giving me the same quality of innings?
Right. I mean, and that's these 2 examples too aren't exactly the biggest of markets either. So, I mean, it helps when, and they've earned it. I mean, these 2 organizations have earned the right at this point to have these young guns. I mean, it's been some slim pickings for those 2 teams for the past long time. So, they've earned it and they deserve it. You hope they can capitalize on it. And I hope they can. Baltimore had over 100 wins last year, so it certainly looks like they're starting to. So hopefully Cincinnati's not far behind.
And as much as baseball has failed with the free agency, this part they're getting right. Like, these teams that have been struggling for so long, the draft picks are starting to finally get back up, and it's starting to cycle back around where your bad teams are starting to rise towards the cream of the crop now. So, like, that's good in that essence for baseball. Like, the bad teams are starting to get good. You know, I mean, Diamondbacks were a joke for a while, you know, after their run in 2001, and they're starting to rise to the top, you know. So, I mean, I know baseball's always had a little bit of parity because the game itself offers so much parity, but it's good to see the struggling organizations start to get back up to the top again. So, but yeah. All right. Do you guys have anything else to add?
I got a few things for you guys.
All right, let's go.
Don't look now, but O'Neill Cruz looks healthy. He hit 2 home runs today, total of 822 feet, exit velos of 110 plus on breaking balls. So he's back to who we thought he'd be. Now it'll be fun to see this guy hopefully get a full season, because last year got cut short. We missed him because he got hurt right before our trip. But he's looking to be back to normal.
That was a heartbreaker, man. Seeing him go down 2 weeks before we were supposed to go.
Brutal.
I was like, no.
Brutal. You got injuries stacking up all over baseball right now. Verlander is going to start on the IL. You've got Seager's just starting to get kind of moving again. You've got Gosman's got right shoulder issues. Alek Manoah's got right shoulder issues. Like, you've got a lot of teams going into opening day with some concerns. The
Alek Manoah is an overuse injury.
Yeah. So you got Miles Mikolas is now replacing Sonny Gray as the opening day starter, because Sonny Gray is going to start the year on the IL for St. Louis. So you got a lot of guys dropping. Duran just got shut down. Johan Duran just got shut down. But one of the ones I want to ask you guys about is, so Byron Buxton got scratched today due to low back tightness that he's been dealing with all spring. Apparently, it's been off and on. This guy hasn't played more than 92 games since 2017. What is it over? Like, at what point do you just say it doesn't work? Like, you just can't get on the field, pal.
He, to me, is the biggest what if in Major League Baseball. This guy, when he's right, could be. Ronald Acuna is kind of in a league of his own right now, but he could be putting up 40-40 numbers.
Oh, easily.
Like, Byron Buxton is a raw talent. He just can't stay on the field. He is the biggest what if to me right now in Major League Baseball. And it's sad that, you know, baseball fans kind of get robbed of seeing his talent because he can't stay on the field. Yeah. Because he's electric and dynamic when he's out there. It's crazy. Yeah. He's fun to watch.
In the last 3 years, he's given the Twins 211 hits in 230 games. Like, it's sad.
Which is sad. But that's pretty good production.
I mean, when he's on the field, he's very talented.
Right. In the 230 games, if you're telling me my guy's going to give you 211 hits in 230 games, I'm going to take it. But it's only 230 games. Like, that's the kicker. To go back to your point, is it time for the Twins to kind of move on? I mean, at this point right now, with their whole money issues, like, he might be the only guy that's getting butts and seats. I mean, I think it is time, because he's not consistent enough for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard, but
it's such a shame too. And it's the way he gets hurt. I mean, I remember was it last year or 2 years ago? You know, we started off the season healthy, like he didn't have injuries coming out of camp. They were playing in Boston in like late April, and he fists one out in between shortstop and center, and he legs out a double. And as he slides into second base, he like hurts the quad, and then he's out for like 2 months. It's like, this is crazy. Like, he wasn't chasing down a fly ball and ran into the monster or anything. He's just like legging out a double, and it's like a 2-month injury.
Yeah. And it was like a non-contact slide.
Oh, yeah,
he just slid into second.
Yeah, right.
Popped up, and he's like,
there wasn't even a tag. Like, he was all by himself.
Right. Horrible.
It's like me in beer league softball. I leg out a single, and I'm like, I need a runner.
Yeah.
Like,
it's disappointing. So the Twins are kind of cautiously optimistic that maybe it won't linger like it has, but at the same time, one of their top prospects, Austin Martin, is a guy looking for playing time, and Buxton going down or being questionable is going to cause them to probably put him on the roster to start the season. and at a minimum, probably platoon. So there are people that believe that this may be the opening to get this kid some playing time, and he may eventually just take it over from Buxton, and they may just sunset him. But I see him get scratched again, and I just shake my head because I'm with you, Nick. I think he's one of the great question marks for me because the guy is so supremely talented, but he just can't get on the field. Can't.
Yeah, I can't think of another player at this moment off the top of my head. I could probably sit and like really think about it, but he's the biggest what if right now currently for me. I can't think of anybody else where I'm like, well, what would happen if he stayed on the field? Like a lot of people do that with Griffey. It was like, oh, if he didn't get hurt later in his career, would he have the home run record? Or
it's
like
DeGrom.
To me, Byron Buxton's
I look at it with DeGrom is the pitcher that comes to mind. The guy that what if you got 3 straight full, healthy seasons out of DeGrom? What would that look like? But it's disappointing.
Yeah.
But I saw that.
I've completely erased Jacob DeGrom from my mind because that's how much he can't stay on the field. Like I forget that guy's still around, but man, those two definitely.
And then a cool story out of Red Sox camp. You got Cam Boozer, the prospect turned Carpenter turned prospect again, throwing 99 miles an hour. Just got sent down to AAA with the expectation that they'll see him again before the season is over. But a guy who's 31, who's out of baseball a few years ago because he had drug problems, attitude problems, as he called it, all kinds of talent, kind of got his life straightened out, and he's back throwing gas. Just nice to see a guy make that kind of comeback and potentially have a spot on a major league team after that long a road.
So he had an appropriate last name, is what you're
Correct.
saying. Yeah, I mean. You are what you are, I guess. But I mean, that's a really cool comeback story, though. Like, I love that. Like, 31 years old, coming back to the game, throwing 99. It's stupid, silly.
And then last thing, I'm not sure if you guys saw it today, but Rodon had a no-hitter going in the spring training game, which of course, who cares? But it was actually Joe Torre that came out to get him, as they gave Torre a chance to come hang out with the team and go out there in the field. So Rodon got taken out of a no-hitter in spring training by Joe Torre. It's kind of a cool moment.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's the other question mark, right, for that Yankees rotation that we've been kind of talking about the last few weeks.
You got nothing from him last year.
We just don't. Right. And what are you going to get out of him this year? So we'll see. But yeah. And is it Marcus Stroman's getting the home start now, I think, for the Yankees?
Yeah, it sounds like they're still figuring that out.
But yeah, so I don't know, a lot up in the air, but do you guys have anything else before we wrap it up?
Nope.
All right. So we will be on Wednesday for our live fantasy draft, just kind of talking baseball, picking our teams. So if you guys want to come on and look, we won't have a full show. We're just going to be drafting our teams, talking baseball. We will have some guys from the league on with us there. And then next Monday will be our full season preview. So we will pick our MVPs. We will pick our Cy Youngs. We'll pick our division winners and our World Series picks. So you can tune in for that. And that will pretty much be the show. And that should get us right into the season. Ooh. So 10 days away. And I'm excited. I honestly haven't watched much spring training, if at all. So
same here.
I am ready for the regular season to start up so I can boycott the Red Sox and get blacked out of 3 markets. So let's go D-backs.
Yeah. You got to watch West Coast baseball because you can't watch anything on the East Coast.
Well, and all the players are in the West Coast anyway, so it doesn't matter. But all right, before we go, just make sure that you like and subscribe. Sure. Like and follow us on Facebook. You can also subscribe on YouTube. You can also listen on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts. We will see you on Wednesday for the fantasy draft if you want to tune in, and then next Monday for our season preview, and we will see you at 8 o'clock.